So it's the 2nd of November. We're out in a winter wheat field here at Chris Myers out in Sumas Prairie. He had irrigation and irrigated the winter wheat about 4 or 5 days after planting it, which was around, I guess, the 15th, 20th of September. So now it's November and it's grown really, really well. There was a lot of fields driving around yesterday after the heavy rainstorm we had on Thursday, Friday last week that should be coming up, and a lot of them are not. I've dug around with my knife in some of these fields, and some of the wheat has semi-sprouted, and in the very, very dry ground, it just totally died off. So there's about 80 or 90% of the fields in the Sumas, DeRoche, Agassiz area that are semi-up, but not really up. And they look very, very poor and patchy. Areas where the manure tank went, the wheat is up in maybe a 3 or 4 foot strip. Some places where the drag line has overlapped, there they got more moisture. There the winter wheat is up, but everywhere else in the field it's not. And I've noticed in the last couple days, today's sunny, I've noticed a bit more wheat coming through. But the next big concern coming up is by next week, Wednesday, Thursday, we're talking about weather forecasts of 0 degrees as a high and -6 at night. Now the wheat that's just coming out of the ground simply cannot take that. That is just too cold. And the last time it was this cold, the 2nd of November, was basically 20 years ago. So again, very extremes in weather, very dry, very wet in the spring times. So the springtime on the new seeding grasses, all those grasses caught exceptionally good, mainly because we had so much rainfall. Every single seed coming down on an orchard grass blend came up and is still there. It looks really, really good and healthy. The winter wheat was the exact opposite. It was so dry, and we'll show you some videos, some slides. The dust was going 150 feet in the air, and really the dirt, I have never seen it look like that. The soil looked like liquid dust. You could pour it, it didn't have any structure to it anymore, and it was dry almost 2 or 3 feet down, really deep and extremely dry, which again we've never seen. And same with the cover crops not being able to catch because of lack of moisture. I've been in the industry 45 years. I've never seen when you plant a cover crop that it didn't germinate really strong and looked really good. This is the only fields that are irrigated are the ones that look the best. So going forward, as we look at these extremes in climate change and stuff, I think the big key thing is you really have to talk to someone with an irrigation system, get them to come down, GPS your fields out on Google Earth, figure out what the cost is. You may not need to, you may not be able to afford it this upcoming season, but at least you know what a well would cost, what the main line would cost, what the reels would cost, so it gives you some idea where you're at. So you have an idea, maybe you get one reel 1 year and you get another reel the second year. You do the pump, you do the well 1 year, you get the main line in. Talk to your neighbors and friends and see what they've got set up. But a case like this, this farmer basically irrigated the corn, got much bigger cobs, a lot more tonnage off of it. Also, he's now benefiting from the grass as well, where he took a lot more feed off the grass. And now on the cover crops, 3 different areas where he's really come ahead, just some irrigation. And going forward, it looks like the extremes in weather. If you have irrigation on your farm, you take out one of the biggest stresses on the plants and you can control the water, and at least you'll get your yields coming back, because alfalfa is still at around $450 a ton. And so if you don't grow it off your own fields, you're definitely going to have to buy it in. So take a look at your cover crops. Let's see what happens. Hopefully this weather forecast doesn't come true, but if it gets down to -6, a lot of the stuff that's just coming up is going to be extremely set back or burnt or even killed off from the extreme cold. So, but again, take a look at your crop and let's see where we go from this point forward.